I am at the, well, how do you describe it? I am here at along Burial Boulevard. How about that? Here, just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. You got a whole row of cemeteries here, beginning with Oddsfellow Cemetery at the very end over there. Oddsfellow being again, a social organization in the 19th, early 20th century. Yeah, they had their own organization, and I guess they also had their own cemeteries, because all the Oddsfellow of early Knoxville, like black doctors, black businessmen, and perhaps the richest man, or one of the richest men in Tennessee, a black man who was born a slave and ended up owning a number of buildings in downtown Knoxville, including a saloon, I think some sort of home he had in downtown Knoxville, a racetrack, etc. He is also one of the Oddsfellows from Knoxville's early days here. Next to Oddsfellow is the Confederate Cemetery, most notable for the huge towering monument to the Confederate soldiers who died in the battles here in East Tennessee. They are honored primarily with this huge towering monument and by name over next to the Oddsfellow Cemetery, with their own cemetery here along Burial Boulevard here. And next to the Confederate Cemetery is the newest addition to Burial Boulevard. It is the Catholics from Ireland who came here in the mid-19th century, escaping that disgusting habit of having to eat. So they came here with railroad work in mind, and that's what they did. The Irish settled in a part of town that is long gone now, called Irish Town. And but above their Irish town, they built the first Catholic church here in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Immaculate Conception Church, in the accounting for the Civil War, probably the late 19th century, it was finished. Now, a few things of note here. This is the first time I've been in this Irish Catholic Calvary Cemetery. And there's a few points of interest that this gay 64-year-old Irish Catholic found a bit amusing. First of all, this is called Priest Circle here. This whole area, it's a roundabout. It's called Priest Circle. And found this sort of interesting. You have sort of a battalion here, or a vanguard here, all in a row, like a gauntlet, if you will, of former priests here in Knoxville. Many, if not most of them, I assume, were from the Immaculate Conception Church or from the school, the primary school, and later a secondary school that the Catholic parish ran in the day, atop Summit Hill, overlooking Irish Town and the Irish neighborhood. Now, something of note here, just I found interesting. I don't know what this symbol is. Okay. The cross I know very, very well, having been raised Catholic and gone to both Catholic primary and secondary school as a young man. But I found it interesting today because it does look, I don't recognize it from my past, except that it looks like a cash sign. I say that only for this reason. You find a lot of these crucifixes all over Calvary Cemetery here. What you don't find here in Calvary Cemetery is the obelisk. You know, the obelisk, that tall, long, hard piece of granite that is so abundant in so many other cemeteries. I don't know. I just made the connection between the cross with the cash sign and the obelisk right behind it, which I don't think you can see, but there is actually a cross emblazoned along there on one of the sides. A black cross. Now, before you start calling people and, well, is there anybody left who will call and complain? I don't know. You know, churches are dropping as bad as the Irish in Ireland during the day, I guess. This obelisk here is for a married couple. It is the couple, Thomas White and his wife, Margaret Kehoe. Okay, both of them from Limerick County. There are their dates in Ireland. Okay, and yeah, they are buried here. Okay, in priest's circle. Okay. So, that's a gorgeous obelisk. But, some symbols just make me want to laugh. I don't know. Once again, girls, guys, don't get upset. Nothing to fight about. It has been labeled as an historical monument by the Daughters of the American Revolution. So they have given their seal of approval to this obelisk here on priest circle, in priest circle, within the circle of the priests here at Calvary Cemetery. Now, on to the subject. Cormac McCarthy was one of the children that went to the primary school and the secondary school that was created after the church on Summit Hill was founded and established. While a student at the school, he became friends with a man, then a boy, named James Long. And him and James Long became very close and fast friends throughout school and throughout their lives. Cormac wrote to James Long often here in Knoxville, sent him postcards of where he was, gave him phone calls. They kept in touch throughout their lives. One of the bonds of the friendship James Long had with Cormac McCarthy, and the bond that these two men had, James Long and Cormac, is that James Long or Jim Long, is a character in Cormac McCarthy's novel called Suttree, about a young homeless man in Knoxville. James Long is just a peripheral character in the novel, but the ties Cormac has to Jim Long is perhaps so strong that in the novel, Cormac put the telephone number, the actual telephone number Jim Long had at the time that Cormac wrote Suttree. The caretaker at Calvary Cemetery, who I met prior to this visit, told me that James Long was to be buried next to his wife, who happens to be still alive from what he said. Instead, prematurely, Jim Long's son died. James Long Jr. died prematurely at the ripe old age of 26 years old. So what Jim Long's wife decided to do was to bury the son she had with Jim Long next to his father. So you have Jim Long next to his son here, in a very, very macabre sort of setting. But yeah, I tried a number of ways to find out how Jim Long Jr. died. The caretaker did not know. There was nothing I could find on the internet. And yeah, the obituary did not have a cause of death in 2022. So, yeah. So, Jim Long, buddy and friend of Cormac McCarthy, who from what everything I hear about here in Knoxville was quite the, wow, he wasn't the Marion type, he was a buddy type. And Jim Long was one of the most profound friends that Cormac had while in Knoxville and long after Knoxville. And with the publication of Suttree, the ties that bind those two men together will live on forever. Calvary Cemetery, Knoxville, Tennessee, on a very brisk, cold, although sunny, March morning.